Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is the Bowtie Chronicles. Your host, Brother Oscar William Abdul Wahid, better known as Abu Naima, coming at you once again with an episode of the Bowtie Chronicles. We're dealing with biracial marriage. When we say biracial marriage, we mean this particular episode, meaning that African Americans marrying Africans, because we have some of our viewers that believe that African Americans coming together with Africans is biracial because we don't have the same cultural makeup. Okay, so that's what we're addressing at the moment. Okay, and to some extent, I agree, and to some extent, I disagree. I'm not wholeheartedly in favor of the position that we don't, we're not the same, nor am I against, because in a lot of instances or situations that I've experienced, our culture is slightly different because we're a culturalist people. We go along and we make up and we take from different aspects of African experience or African culture. We have a tendency as African Americans to misplace a lot of culture and put it where it's not supposed to be at. And this is because of our experience in taking in things and not really understanding it, because we're not on the ground with the people a lot of times. For instance, wearing French braids or plaits, as we used to call them, when I went back to Africa or to East Africa, I realized that this was a female thing. Men don't do that, okay? But of course, once again, because of our influence that we have throughout media and so forth, the trajectory or the image of African Americans is projected all over the place. So now you have a younger generation that come up and they are following after the trends that African Americans may do. So now you may have in Africa a young group of dudes that are wearing French braids and so forth because they're following our trends. But culturally, that's not a part of it. That's us taking some African experience or culture and bringing it back to America, but using it in a different way. Okay, and these are things that I've seen immediately when I went back. Okay, let me. What else? This whole phenomenon of femininity. Okay, Africans don't have an issue with their femininity. Okay, you'll see two African men on swole road, they just walking down the street. I had an issue with it when I first went to Africa because I didn't understand. And he may pull up, he's your boy, he your dog. He like, what up, G? What up, man? Salaam alaikum. Take your hand and grab your hand and walk down the street with your hand in hand, and not have an issue with the ideal of homosexuality, because they have not, their manhood is not in jeopardy. Or as far as that's a cultural thing that we have as African Americans, okay? So because we have those particular things, it makes us see Africa or different things in a different light, because we haven't settled in. If you settle in the country or a particular country in Africa, then what happens is that you learn, okay, this is just cultural. They're not gay. Then it becomes normal for you. But if you don't settle, you just go there for a visit for 2 weeks, you be like, I saw a whole bunch of people, they look kind of gay to me. That because of lack of educational, observation, or not reading up on a place, or not understanding what you're experiencing at that particular place. In relation to biracial marriage, I've been married several times in Africa. I'm still married to Mother Africa. How would I mark my experience in relation to African Americans and as far as Africans, what I would say is this right here. This is from my own personal experience, and then I'll get into what people have said. From my own personal experiences, Africa has given me a sense of a stronger sense of purpose and a direction. Okay, but at times you have to understand that you're in a cultural, you're in a communal understanding. So as a community, they understand we are more individual based. So we do all of our experiences and we learn them. We fall down on our own. We get back up on our own. People may be there to help you, but you're going to do all this on your own. But in Africa, it's slightly different. Everything is communal. You get hooked on drugs, you hurt the family. Okay? You hurt the tribe. You hurt everybody. You know what I mean? So everybody's involved to get you back where you're supposed to be at, no matter how long it takes. So these are the differences with cultural dynamics. Or as far as I may be in a relationship, I'm married to an African sister, and everything that happens is communal. Okay, and no matter if it's good or bad, people gonna be there to absorb that with you. Okay, if they truly follow African culture. Okay, also marriage, likewise, marriage is communal. When you marry a brother or a sister, you marry what? You marry a family. So a lot of times the women are opposed to women marrying their men. Why? Because inheritance goes to the men. The majority of inheritance goes to the men. And what women have a tendency to do, marriage is business. You got to understand that. Marriage is business. And so by marriage being business, if a woman has gotten a son, she's got 3 sons, and one of them becomes a doctor, and 2 of them become laborers. This son that becomes a doctor, if he decides he wants to go off while he's in America and he marries an African-American sister, of course, the mother and her sister is going to be opposed to that. Why? Because this is the breadwinner of the family, and he went off to America, and now he's bringing back this chick right here. She don't even know our culture. She don't. So you have to understand the mindsets culturally of what people go through. And so this is like a slap in the face to, you got all of your grandmother's sisters and all your mom's sisters, your great aunties and your aunties that raised you and helped raise you in the South, and all of a sudden you go to New York and you marry some city dweller, you ever said, that don't know cultural, the Southern culture, and then you bring it back down to the South. They're gonna be looking at you like, what you bring this hussy down here for? You know what I mean? So this is the mindset, and because we don't understand or consider mindsets and how culturally things work, the boy himself that goes to New York and marries his sister, he may be naive to how they're going to react. Okay, so because of this, you have to understand that one of the other sisters of the mother, because they marry cousins, she may be preparing the boy to marry her daughter or another distant cousin. Why? Because it's about keeping the wealth in the family, something that the black community in America has not learned yet. As soon as the brother gets some money, first thing he do is he run off, get a white girl, run off and get something of lighter origin, because he think that doesn't put him over the top. Okay? And so if he did that in Africa, she's not going to be accepted. He may keep her, but she's not going to be accepted amongst these women, amongst the womanhood of the tribe and of the family. Okay, and so they're going to shun her, and they may even make it hard for her until she leaves. Why? Because they want their boy back. He's ours. We raised him. He's our investment. We put this time into him. So, and so this is how it goes. All right. Now, another aspect may come into play where, as far as, they accept the sister. They're bona fide sisters. They accept the sister, but also they're going to prepare for him another wife, which is going to be one of the daughters of her sisters or a distant cousin. And I had a situation where a friend of mine, his wife, refused. And so he said, I'm not even going to fuss with you. He let his mom deal with her. His mom told her, "You think I birthed my son for you? You think I carried him in here for 9 months for you?" God gave him the privilege to marry 4 women. And if that's what he chooses to do, he going to marry 4 and give us, as many grandkids as, you know what I mean? So as many grandkids as he chooses to do. And so the whole aspect, as far as the bounty itself, they have a whole different concept. Okay. Where as far as you'll find some, tribes where the man takes one wife, and while he's with this particular one wife, the family has already arranged for him to have another wife or 2 wives at one particular time. Okay, where as far as I have a sheikh, Allah arhamu, Sheikh Al-Bakr Muhammad Tahiru Mayerno, he married 4 wives in the same day. Okay, so this is just how it happens. This is Africa. Okay, and so how they do things is based upon what's going to best benefit the culture or the community or the tribe, or it's communal. Or as far as I said before, when we do things, it's more individual based, and I'm not free from that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a product of California. You know what I mean? So I'm not free from that. I'm not saying, oh, I've experienced so much time with Africans to the point where I haven't. Okay, and so there are many things that I'm still coming to learn, and there are many things that I don't want to change. Okay, but my experience, that's experience with Africans. As far as my experience with African Americans. After being in Africa for so many years, I think I returned in 1999, 2000. And then Allah blessed me, alhamdulillah, to get remarried again. I got remarried to an African American sister, you know what I'm saying, mashallah. And the sister was right in New York, you know what I'm saying, good family, you know what I mean. And she had been divorced. She had married an African brother. She had got divorced. And she was already in Africa, so I married the sister. And what I would say is that by me remarrying the sister, it brought me back into the reality of who I am. Because for a minute, I forgot. Okay? Forgot to the extent when I say I forgot, we have a particular struggle. Africans cannot directly relate to that struggle, but they're not opposed to it if they are if they get knowledge of the struggle. So some of them have knowledge and they're not opposed to it. But you can get into Africa and forget all about all of that because it's that peaceful. But the sister brought me back into who I am, my struggle, where I come from, okay? Not that, I want to go back and relive that because I don't. But that's what she did. She brought me back that reality. She made me see my grandmother. She made me see my mom. She made me see all of those females that raised me. And for that, I'm grateful because you can't have one and not have the other. You need to have a balance, okay? And so I think that that's what's lost with sisters, is that when sisters have the experience, they have the experience just with an African brother, and they don't have the experience to marry another man, okay? Because in Africa, I don't care if you're Christian or if you're Muslim or if you're Jewish, you can have more than one wife, okay? So for her experience is totally African, and she has to somewhat wipe away all of her experience. And she never really has that experience again. Where as far as a brother, he has that connection back again. Because if he marries an African-American sister, they're in other words, I can't sit down with my African wife and play Marvin Gaye and expect her to understand. Okay? I can't play Marvin Gaye or Al Green, you know what I mean? Trouble Man, and expect her to understand that. I have to explain it to her. Okay? So if I did that with the African American sister and just cut it on and dropped a tear, she understand. She feels me automatically because the struggle is one. Okay? Where as far as the other side, the struggle has to be understood. And so this is why a lot of people are they have different positions when it comes down to biracial marriage. It's because of their experience and what they understand and what they go through. Okay, this is just from my position. I have been in relationships with African sisters that I wouldn't do it again. Okay, I've been in relationships with African American sisters. I wouldn't do that again either. So it depends on the person that you're in it with. Okay, and it depends on what transpires inside of that relationship. That that frames how you see it. And so with that being said, I'm gonna stop there. We will be touching on another aspect of biracial marriage from the perspective primarily with experiences from different people, from sisters primarily, and also from brothers. I'm going to give accounts of people that I've talked to and how they see it and how they feel about it. And this right here was just my take on both sides. And assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.